Good morning, everybody. I had a kind of an epiphany recently. I say to everybody often that relocation in the business that we're in is not really rocket science. And then I had the opportunity to watch the movie Apollo 13, and I realized that we have a lot in common with rocket science. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. If you haven't, rent it. It's fantastic. But what I noticed in the movie was that though their mission was pretty complex and they needed to try to land men on the moon, the way that they approach it is very simple. It's routine. It's doing the same things over and over and over again. It's practicing them. It's making sure that they have ad nauseum gone through the sequence of things that they're supposed to do, so that when things are actually on the line and they don't exactly go the way that they think that they might, they're prepared. And if you ever watch the movie, you'll see they sit in the simulator for an hour, at a time, and they just go through the same sequence over and over and over again. And they keep throwing different problems at them. And every time they throw a problem at them, they get more and more prepared to handle that in case it happens. And that's exactly what happens when they go on their mission. A whole sequence of events happened in Apollo 13. And, at the end of the movie, they talk about it, and it's probably true. It's probably one of the proudest moments for the American space program that they got those men home. And they got them home because they had a whole lot of routines, and they had a whole lot of systems, and they had a whole lot of people who thought that way and who could communicate that way. And when something got thrown at them that was unexpected, it wasn't completely unprepared for. They were able to respond, think, use their normal systems that they had, adapt them slightly, and get those men home. Well, our mission is not quite, as complicated as landing on the moon, although depending on the customer that you have coming up this weekend, it may be just as difficult. And we're all aware of that. We're all aware that you got life. You got many customers going on. You got a lot of things going on. What I'm going to talk to you about this week is really what you told me. Last month we did a customer service exercise, and I think we had some great meetings from the feedback that I got. I had a chance to be in the Crofton office and just listen and hear what they had to say. And again, it's not rocket science, but it is rocket science. It's being prepared. I think you're going to hear that there's common themes, and the most common theme is a set of expectations. You have one chance to make the right impression. And once you've had your first impression, well, then you're working backwards from that. So we're going to just talk through what we came up with last week, or last month, give you a little bit of that feedback. You have a handout. I'm taking the information directly from that handout. And I know two things. I know that regardless of what I talk about, if I just mention customer service to this group, we get better. If I mention conversion to this group, we get better. We're that kind of program. We're Platinum Award winners. We're the second largest relocation account in the country. And we're going to take the right approaches. And if you remember from last month, we talked a little bit about Disney, and Disney had the problems of locking the keys in the car and not remembering where the car was. Well, they didn't look and say, well, we got a bunch of idiot people and there's nothing we can do about that. They thought about it and said, geez, if that's the last impression that they have before they leave our park, they're not going to come back. Remember that as we talk about any of this stuff, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about getting people to come back. We want them to refer their friends to us, and when they do another transaction, we want them to come back to us. And there's one more piece to this equation. Specifically when we talk about USAA and NFCU, we have partners, and we want them to come back. So regardless of whether or not this person buys or sells a transaction from us, buys or sells and has a transaction with us, we need USAA and NFCU to feel good and feel that we represent the name that they have worked so hard to build. And you've seen it. I know you have. I know when somebody comes in and they really have that USAA loyalty, you go, wow, that's unbelievable. Well, we need to have the same loyalty to Century 21, and more importantly, we need to have the same loyalty to Century 21 New Millennium. And even more important than that, you need to have that same loyalty to you. So that's what we're talking about, the simple systems, the simple things that were going to put us in a good position so that if something does go wrong, so that when our life is busy, we're going to be prepared, we're going to be ready, and we're going to get an excellent mark on our customer service surveys. And it's more than just getting that excellent. They're going to come back to us.